This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shout it loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Today is Tuesday. It's Deidre Viney Day. There we go. It's hot, and I'm tired. I told Vincent Deidre that I've been up since what did I say, Vincent? 2:45.
2:45.
Yeah, man. You know, when you start a business and your obligations change. So I'm a little worn out right now. I've put in what time is it? I put in a full day already.
Yeah, Eric did more before 6 a.m. than most of us have done all day.
That's
I
crazy.
saw your thing at ShopRite, Eric. That's great. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Well, they are part of the reason I was up at 2:45 this morning. You know. But anyway, so I'm if I seem a little discombobulated, it's because I'm trying to adjust to a new schedule. Anyway, welcome, guys. Hydrate. I got a big bottle of water with a little apple juice in here for me. I got my smoothie up here, and I got my coffee over there, which is cold now. But guys, make sure you hydrate. Yesterday was brutal. Today's going to be a little better than yesterday was, but still, you don't want to dehydrate.
Oh yeah. Today I'm working on them.
Have you guys been discussing about the fireworks going off every night? Because that's been disrupted last week.
Yeah, we
Every
talked
town.
about that yesterday, Deidre.
Okay.
And you know, I thought that it was just the less affluent areas that this was happening. No, it's happening everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Why? Because fireworks are at Walmart and ShopRite.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no reason for them to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night. But anyway, I'm sorry, I missed that yesterday on your show,
No. You
Eric.
know what'll take care of that though? See, I figured this out. A BB gun. See, Deidre, just you know, you and the fam have to run a covert operation, right? Where you flank your neighbors who are shooting off these fireworks.
Well, you know what? There's going to be a big issue that they keep this up. I didn't hear it as much last night, so maybe this comes down.
Well, you're looking at youthful exuberance and a great disposable time on their hands. What would really clear this up is that these suckers get a job.
Yeah, well, that would help too. But you know, I'm not sure what the motivation is, and I don't mind. And I said this yesterday, Deidre. You know, if you're shooting off fireworks at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, even 10 o'clock at night, right? But 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're just being an ass.
Right? Basically.
Right? Like I was trying to think of something else, but
Eric, don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel.
yeah. So if any of you who do that or listen to the show, that's what you are, an ass. I can't, you know. And you're annoying people, and you know I'm encouraging people. Well, no, you know I shouldn't do that. Don't go get a BB gun. Wink, wink.
Well, actually, the process of owning a BB gun has changed. Now BB guns have become a bit high-powered, and they come with scopes that you would see on 30-30s or 30-aught. So the process of getting a BB gun means that you get your pictures taken, you get prints, and you get a police background search.
Well, you know what we used to do? Because when I was younger, when I was a kid, my dad wouldn't buy me a BB gun. We used to take a rubber band and we'd take paper clips and break them in half. And then we use the paper clip and put it through the rubber band like a slingshot almost. And we shoot that off. You know, you don't need to get fingerprinted or pictures taken to do that, right? Or create an old-fashioned slingshot. David did a lot with a slingshot, didn't he? He brought down Goliath, goddammit. See, don't get me started, Deidre. I was calm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there are options, people. There are options.
Well, the fireworks situation has gotten so bad that at around 8:30, 9 o'clock, it really fills up just about every social media page. You know, and I think that, and the worst thing about it, what people are finding out is that these kids that are shooting off fireworks in their neighborhood don't live in their neighborhood.
You think so?
Oh no, you know what? He's right. There were some people, and I went outside, Deirdre. Guy pulled up on the block, opened the trunk of his car, and was shooting off fireworks. I said, "Yo, dude."
Stop.
Oh no,
Exactly.
he stopped. He stopped. He stopped. And I didn't have to use a BB gun either. But you know, I am the I've turned into a combination of my late grandmother who used to sit in her chair and look out the window, right? Deirdre, and that woman, that character that used to be on In Living Color, right? And I just monitor the whole block. The loud music, people dropping.
You're now that dude. You're that dude.
I am that guy. I'm that guy. And you know what? And see, when I was a kid, that guy, he used to have all of the kids walk on the other side of the street when they got to his house. I'm aiming for that is my goal.
He was telling.
If I can accomplish that, Deidre, where I get them walking on the other side of the street when they get to this house, then I am that guy. You know, I may have to borrow Diane's dog. Put a long
BB gun.
Yeah, and the BB gun. Put a long leash on her dog so he reaches out into the sidewalk. Yeah, they got to do something. Got to do something. Anyway, what's going on? What jewels do you have to share with the audience today?
Today, I want to just talk a little bit about your interview. And we covered that a couple weeks ago, but now we're going to talk about some questions you should not ask. And we can also delve into some you should ask. I think we talked a little bit about the ones you should ask a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the ones that you should not ask, because I think folks need to know. And so, you know, I'm going to give Vincent a stab at maybe the first one, because I'm sure he has a bunch of them.
What? Questions you should not ask.
What questions should you not ask? I get these, and I chuckle sometimes when I interview people. Like in particular, one question I might get asked is, well, how much am I going to be paid? Now that is a question that is appropriate when you have an offer letter. You applied for the job. You should have seen a bit more details about it, but it's not the time during that particular time to kind of delve deep into how much and how often am I going to be paid.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. I want to pause on that for a second.
Isn't that a legitimate question?
Right. I want to pause on that for a second. So, firstly, any job that I apply for, I already know what the salary range is. Right, so I've already been in contact, and so if it's an art director position, it'll say, $120,000 to $140,000. Right now, are you saying that if that's what I'm looking at, $120,000 to $140,000, that in the early stages of this, so we're not wasting time, right? Because I don't want to waste your time. I would want at the high end of that, right? So I would want the 140, right? And beyond that, I might want to negotiate higher, because I'm planning to bring my A game to the interview and wow you. And even though you may have had budget for between 120 and 140, you haven't met Eric Dawson. And so the value that I'm going to bring might be worth negotiating another $5,000 or $7,000 beyond what your thing was. So you're saying that that's not the time to do that?
So it's a couple different ways. Sometimes when I'm phone screening folks, I as the interviewer might want to get a litmus of making sure they're in the pay range that we're looking for. There's a lot of times companies don't put pay ranges on job descriptions on purpose, because they want to get an idea of what the landscape looks like. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion is that the time at the interview is not the time to you're trying to shine, you're trying to put your best foot forward. You should have I would hope by that time, like you said, and at least an understanding of the pay, the range, the salary range. So you're not digging deep into, what am I going to be paid? You're trying to shine. You're trying to put the best foot forward. Now, if you get the job offer and it's well lower than what you were expecting, then obviously that's the time to bring up, okay, this is what my expectations are for that particular position that you were applying for. But I just don't think it's the time at the interview to kind of bring that up. Same thing with benefits. Like, there's a time and a place for
yeah, no benefits.
And the time and the place is not when I'm sitting there trying to put my best foot forward. The time and the place for those kind of things is once I have something in hand, an offer letter is presented to me. You're not, sometimes the person you're talking to doesn't even know all the benefits. They might just be the first, line before you get to the second line, who then talks about benefits and all those kind of things. Once you have the job, I just want people to understand you don't want to be prematurely jumping and assuming you have the job. You have to still wow them. And you have to still impress them.
So can I give an example of the benefit question you shouldn't ask? So would this be inappropriate? I mean, I already know the answer, but people I'm sure would ask this. I need to get some glasses, so I want to know if I got the job, how quickly would my benefits kick in, and what percentage would you pay for my eyeglasses?
Or, I hope you don't have that HMO, because I don't like my doctor. I need a new doctor.
Yeah, those are no's, right?
Yes. Those are no's. Like, this is, again, you're trying to shine. You're trying to put your best foot forward and make the best impression and talk about the qualities that you bring to the company and where you're going to add value. When you start to dig into sort of an offer letter, conversation, that's a different conversation at a different time, which might even be with a different person.
Right.
So you don't know. So here's another one. Here's another good one. Do you drug test all your employees?
Oh.
Not the time to ask that.
Wait a minute, and then wait a minute, and the follow-up is, and then what is the schedule? Do you do it every other week? Do you do it every month? Right? I just want to. Oh my God, that's a. Have you ever been asked that?
Yes. Yes, I have. Most employers, I would imagine, are drug-free workplace. You just need to have the understanding that a drug test will be may be required of the company that you're working for. Let's just put it at that. But you want to make sure that you're not kind of putting that out there. Now that's in their head, like, why are they asking me that? I had one guy ask me, what exactly do they test for? Really?
Oh.
Not the time. Because remember, let's back up for a second. You're doing research on the company. You're getting details about the company. This is also not the time to say, hey, who are you? Who's your competition? Not the time to ask that. Because if you did your due diligence on the company, you would know the answer to those questions. So a better one might be, I noticed that you guys had a fantastic quarter, and it looks like you might be looking to merge with a company. Is there any opportunities that you might be looking to merge with a different company in the near future, or what? There's some buzz on the street about that. Something that shows something thought-provoking on your end, and not to say that you didn't do that basic understanding of who their competition is. You want to definitely not do that.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so I guess another question that you shouldn't ask during the interview is, do you have any more jobs available? Because I'm not feeling this one.
Well, that's also not the time. So I've had people ask me in a job, do I have the job? Did I get the job? And that's not the time. Again, you are trying to impress them, so you're not going to say, "Well, did I get it?"
Well,
nope.
Can you ask a modified? Because I understand what they're trying to get at, right? Now, I've done this. At the end of the interview, I've asked in various ways. One, I want to know when what is the window they're looking to hire. 2, I want to know whether there are other interviewees, and 3, I try to ask, in terms of, what you've interviewed, where do I fit in? So I don't know that I necessarily just come straight out and ask for the, if I got the job, but I do try to understand the landscape.
So there's ways around that too. You can say things like, what are the next steps to this process?
Right.
So that you understand where you're fitting into the cogwheel. They may or may not tell you. They may say, oh, this is it. Or they may say, yes, we'll kind of get back to you and kind of determine. But I remember when we interviewed you a couple weeks ago, Eric, we talked about summarizing your qualifications at the end. And this is a good opportunity to do that at the end of the interview. Summarize your qualifications. Then about say you're good in there that you put this up, but it puts them in some city and not even call try to black maybe like the person you're not sure. So you start to put them in opposite where they're feeling like they have to answer questions. Oh no, you didn't get it. Is that what you want to hear? Is that it?
I don't want to hear. Well, you know what? Well, so, and again, I want to know where I stand. So I guess the question for me to ask you is the interviewee is trying to ascertain where they are in the interview process, whether or not the company is leaning toward them. What would you recommend they do?
In terms of once the interview is over?
Yeah, well, during the course of the interview, right? To get to glean from.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, because sometimes I may have 3 or 4 interviews going on, and I'm trying. I want a interview, and I was offered I think the hand to the elevator, for the open and and we and they actually offered me to take, and now I barely right. So I'm want the best so one interview where staying, so I keep waiting. Now I take 2 interviews. I went there and got off. So in the interview, I have to wait for their time now because I the company 8 that I'm finding their offer, or telling them face being that by etc. Or and I've it's off the just money, right? As I drive, I can't pay, it was just want to know you got to be interested in we could go high, sitting you with the constitution of this guy to be and sign up today that you
that's what I was but that's what do your job things like that. Then you get experience very easily very so they're lean and you're figuring out your way stand is you can even okay very situation keep it but even in your head I opt out the tier this criteria things like and I want to let us support if you approach the position but once you careful you're not necessarily right to get the door. So what do you
if you have move in time ready big time to that conversation.
We had a job. Once you're off and you that I have this thing down on my talks. Anything around there is fine to the job. You want to take on it's my affirmation. You have an hour over that you say, oh, I came to about the person that you do just he's integrating that. That's what he's one kind of a team. Work for a week ago because they should work. And so I should make sure broken and not say those things.
Yeah. I want to go to the next course. So there's things that we just said, but I think there's things that I think.
Also, we think about I try them about that goodness. I know this was a difficult side. I had to whether to take part to see them as well. I think they give a belief and it says another one. So like why don't people work here? What we ask them? That might then be harmful. Take your gentleman and stuff. Like you might make a difference where you can what's some sort of the whole hand mouse and I listen so you can just ask my this particular position at the time you're hopefully somebody that just to bring this whole time a little bit better.
And that one could come off, a little intake. Now, I do, when turnover, like trying into to our culture, about what you had, bad experience, because if you also, bugs are not you have will put into it, not time, right?
Another thing that they still use this point, and now in this complete authority. Those are key important things. I'm not minimizing them, but you want to just have that offer in hand so you can have negotiating around whatever that looks like.
Okay, so I guess one of the things that's really important in putting your best foot forward, or really shining in this interview, is redirecting your questions. Is that it? Absolutely. So sometimes people want to be quick to find out about promotion and things that's going to happen. I talked a little bit about being able to ask questions about how someone has navigated within the organization. This is not the time of the interview to say, well, when am I going to be promoted? It's the same that I put that in a line with the money question. That's you're making, maybe there's a different way to frame that, but the time of the interview is not the time to say, am I going to get promoted? How soon do you promote for this particular position? Because you don't know. Every person is different, and so you're coming off thinking that from the beginning, I have aspirations to do different things. That's fine. But you just don't want to come off as saying, putting that interviewer on the spot too, to say, okay, now, this person wants to be promoted, the first week or two. I've heard that too. People start a job and they want to get a pay raise in week 2 because they think they're a great thing, and that's wonderful. But that's not the way things work. You got to show up a little bit more in 2 weeks. Or you don't want to have an arrogant sense of entitlement to anticipate getting a company car in your second day.
Exactly. We talked a lot about social media a couple weeks ago too. You don't want to ask in an interview if they're going to look at your social media, because they will. So don't even bother asking it. Remember, what you put out there is a representation of not just you, it's a representation of the company that you're working for. So if you're going to put it out there, it's going to be fair to be utilized in any way that a company sees fit. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's like telling somebody on a high wire, don't look down.
Yep, so there's lots of different, I don't know you guys have any bad examples, but what you had, but those are kind of a couple of the key ones that I want to just kind of highlight, that you want to make sure that you're not kind of asking those questions.
Oh, the top one on my bad example, does this dress make my butt look big? Yes, a woman actually asked me that on an interview.
No, I thought you were joking. No,
I'm serious.
I've been asked things like, we talked about the hours. So I've been asked things like, well, this position, what are the hours for this position? Because I need to be able to leave early every Friday. So you don't want those things lingering over your interview. You want to be.
What I'll say is this regarding that particular question. At least the person is putting it out there, and they're not a good fit, right? Because if I can't accommodate that, then we don't need to move forward with the interview, and it just it can cut it short, save me time, save that person time and they can move on. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, that it's not appropriate, but it's honest, right? Honest,
True.
some may say to a fault, but if that person really needs to leave early on Fridays, it is best that they say that up front. You know, then go through the entire interview process, get an offer letter, and then say that they need, well, maybe not. I don't know, right? Because to your point, Deidre, you know, if he or she wowed if early on in the process when they have no leverage, they're you know, kind of putting that caveat down, you know, then again, there's no leverage, right? The interviewer may have, you know, a dozen more people to interview, and they can find somebody who can fit their need.
Exactly.
If the person...
Teacher's point is, do you want to be honest or do you want to be employed?
You know, I think you want to be employed, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think companies are definitely more sensitive nowadays to flexible work schedules, and that's a conversation you're having once you're knocking it out the park, working at the company well. Let's say they had let's say you wanted to leave early every Thursday for whatever reason, and they had a management meeting every Thursday, and now they got to move everything around for you because that was something you had going on, and that might be in that person's brain that they're interviewing you, and then they're like, oh, forget it. He said in the interview he has to leave early every Thursday. It's not going to work. You know, and now you've knocked yourself out that part. Versus you could figure something out. They could, as you work down the line, and they understand you're a valued employee, they might be willing to move that Thursday meetings to Wednesday to accommodate you for that one time you have to go. You have to leave once a month or whatever on Thursdays. So I think there's definitely more sensitivity to work-life balance and all those kind of things, even work from home balance. But you just want to be sensitive that there are needs of the employer first. You know, that's it. You know, we can all make the argument that they want to be sensitive to their employees, and I agree to that. But there's still a business to be done, and money to be made from the organization. If that's important, that you have to be there to do that, then that may be a deal breaker.
Point well taken. And, you know, I guess I'm trying to be honest, Abe.
Well, it's nothing wrong with being honest, Dave, but just recognize, like what Vincent said, sometimes it might just knock you out of the park. You might just be honest, but not employed.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think these are all, you know, things that, you know, especially the ones that Vincent floated out there. You should definitely not ask those questions under any circumstances. And then the ones that you mentioned, Deidre, you know, again, they're thoughtful, right? I mean, it made me think a minute and say, well, wait a minute, why not? Can we rephrase that? And, you know, but in the end, I agree. And that, again, is why you're the pro.
I try. So thank you for having me today, guys. Absolutely. I'll be listening in, and we'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing with us.
So, Vincent Squire.
Yes, sir.
Dude, man. I mean, so, how'd your interviews go? Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. I had some doozies. I had one who asked me to watch her kid while she went for the second interview.
Now, what kind of positions were these for?
One was for a telemarket job, and the other was for a warehouse position.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect. I mean, you would hope that wouldn't be the case, but I guess in these, you know, in some of the low skill, low salary positions, you know, people are struggling, right? They can't afford daycare, they can't afford these kinds of things. They're trying to get a job, doing the best they can to make accommodations, and you know, sometimes their problem becomes your problem as you know, as the interviewer.
I think one thing that Deidre would probably agree upon is that when you're going for a job interview, you don't want to make your problem his problem. That makes you, again, honest and unemployed.
Yeah. I don't
But,
know. You know, I've been a compassionate employee. I mean, a compassionate interviewer, and maybe because of my life experiences, right? People I know, people I've seen, people who've missed out on great opportunities, but they were talented simply because they had an unforeseen issue, right? And so I don't believe I've ever operated as an interviewer with a zero tolerance towards these kinds of things.
Are you kidding? I live for the zero tolerance.
No, man. You know, and what I'll say to you is this: as a result, almost not quite a few people who worked for me are still in touch with me. They call and check in on me. They let me know how their careers are blossoming, and some of them I brought back on a project basis to work on different things. And it was because there was more than just me interviewing them, right? It was me seeing them, right? Because seeing them and interviewing them, knowing that in the end, what I wanted in the departments that I was trying to fill was a person, right? Not just an employee, but a person. So, and that person, those people, me, you know, you have issues. I remember my daughter, well, both of them. At one point, I had to bring them to work. We had an unfortunate situation. One day my ex-wife had left for work. I left for work. We dropped the kids off right across the street. We had a daycare provider. Dropped them off, and I had to go back because I left something at her house. When I went back, Vincent, about an hour or so later, my daughter was still in the car seat that I brought her in there in, right? An hour and a half later. And the woman had the television on and was out in the backyard, right? So I immediately removed my kids from that environment, but I had no daycare person. So I had to take them with me. Now, I was a senior designer working for the city of Newark at the time, and I had to bring my kids in.
Yeah, well, I would have left there with a few choice words for her to remember me by.
I did that too, but my point to you is this: that when you say that this woman said, "Oh, can I work something out with my kid?" I can tell you, if somebody said that to me, I would be thinking, well, maybe she's trifling, right? Or maybe she doesn't have good time management skills, right? Or maybe something happened. Right?
Yeah, well, there's a 90% chance that your interviewer is going to be someone who is not of color, who would not understand the plight of you needing a job. So the first thing that they may consider is that you are trifling.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably why one of the things that we push for is to have greater diversity within companies, right? Because when you do, you have people who have, experienced different backgrounds, and they're bringing that experience with them, and they're not just looking, looking at you as a stereotype.
Correct. And that's what you need to do. And I think one thing Deidre stressed probably in our first one is that you want to put that best foot forward. So putting that forward is existingly making his job, or making your problems not his problems, because that's a huge red flag to say that once we hire you, you're going to make your problems our company problem. And that's not a good match. You have to have some consideration that the reason that they are hiring you is that you're bringing a skill set to make their lives easier. So, you need to remove all obstacles and distractions from you putting your best foot forward. And that starts with the interview. And it does not stop until you make president. So you have to make those sacrifices. Let's face it. We're talking about, the competition for a job is no longer local. The world is so much smaller now because of the internet. So you may be competing with someone on a global level.
Well, this is true. This is true.
So everybody has a level of empathy for your plight, but no one is going to hire you and hire you to be a burden. It's just not going to happen. Especially my company, we work on too close of a tight budget. We pay our people well because our people know how to make my life easier. When I have to start doing their job or coming into their life or intervene in certain things, then I'm looking for a new employee.
All right. So what else is going on in the world, man? Vincent? Oh, I think you got disconnected.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, now I got you. So what else is going on in the world, man? Donald Trump and...
Primary Tuesday. This is the Eric Dawson day of Christmas, where our theory of people being sick and tired comes to play. We're looking at some key figures right now in Congress who may be losing their jobs. We're looking at.
Let's start in New York, where who is it's a very high-ranking Democrat who is being primaried and the challenger is being backed by some heavy-hitting progressives, right? Alexandria Cortez and Bernie Sanders and some other people.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you know what also is happening, right? But then you have the establishment, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Obama. They're all lining up. So we get to see very clearly now the line of delineation, right? Where they're saying, no, we don't want to change anything. We want to maintain the status quo. We want to keep people here as career politicians who do nothing. And then you have whoever the incumbent is, he's saying, now Black Lives Matter to him. Now.
Yeah. And I'm getting all the black people to actually co-sign for me. Now it's too freaking late. Now is 57 dead black people too late. Killed by police.
But here becomes my issue again, Vincent. So I'm looking at Alexandria Cortez, and I'm looking at the fight that she's having for her own seat, as well as trying to help other progressives, right? Then you have folks who want to continue to feed different levels of the Democratic Party, while somebody like Alexandria Cortez is fighting to unseat ineffective leadership in the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is funding that, right? It's funding the campaign efforts of the ineffective leader. And so we're trying to cut through this thing with a scalpel, trying to determine, well, let's save this one. Okay, we'll go after that one. Let's save this one because of this reason. Let's go after that one. And I'm saying that is creating tremendous issues for us. We should just blow the whole thing up. Done.
Well, we are, but the problem with us blowing the whole thing up is that schematically there are things in place to make it implode. Instead of us blowing the whole thing up, sometimes we tend to blow up our own organization and look at the mechanics of the squad. And you'll see, and the rest of them have been party. Now, here is the problem that they run into. Once they get elected based on making change, the old guard is fighting against them. Forget the fact of what's good for everybody else. We want these new rebel rousers out of politics. So to get them out, we want to make them ineffective. So the change in which they were voted on, we're going to make it a very minimalistic change in which it won't get them reelected. That's the big issue that they have to fight with. So you got the old guard, like Hillary, Obama, and Biden, now pushing against them because they want their own establishment to have dominance.
Correct. And so for me, if you're looking at the nuance of this, and so for somebody who says, well, okay, so I recognize that that Biden isn't interested in changing the structure. So now we're back to structural, right? So we recognize that the structure is the problem, right? And Biden says, I want to keep things the same. I'm not interested in changing the structure, right? But then he says, well, Black Lives Matter to me. Then he says, I want to improve your circumstances. He says, I want to do these things, but I'm not interested in changing the structure. How do you get it done then?
It's really simple, because right now our country is on the direction of change. We're on the direction of restructuring, refocusing, refurbishing, reimagining, redesigning, and rebranding.
We talked about this yesterday, right? So, Emancipation Proclamation, the country was, changing. To benefit us or no?
Yes. Exactly, and that's what we're faced with now. At the point of change, now comes the part where the pushback begins to be the politics. Now, are we now going to suffer with the pushback and the compromise, which basically sets us back, or are we going to continue and stay the course of change? That's what this election is all about right now. So listen, believe me, I love Barack Obama. I'm not too crazy about Hillary Clinton. And Joe Biden, I'm a little questionable on. But you know what? Right now, their actual tenure is over. It is time now for change. We need effective leadership. And we need those people who are willing to make change. We need to invoke more people into office to give them the support. The biggest problem with Obama's campaign was as soon as he went for the Affordable Health Care Act, everybody voted out all of his support. We need to back up AOC and the squad. We need to get more progressive mindsets involved. We need to blow it up down line. Oh, by the way, I'm hoping some of the listeners will call in to confirm this. I understand that mail-in ballots hit New Jersey yesterday.
Yes, they did. Well, I got mine. Yeah.
But
No, I got mine.
yeah, me too. And carefully, meticulously, and as my Jamaican ancestors would say, skillfully went down the line to vote on change.
Yeah. I think that is the thing, Vincent. I think that if people really looked at the ballot, right, and voted for change, right, not individual, not the, but scrutinized each candidate and said to themselves, which of these candidates are going to be able to effectuate change? Or is even interested in it, right? Because some are not, and they've been very clear about it. I think that would be helpful.
Correct. We have to look at it in terms of change. We have to look at one in the primary, which basically you are now voting in your actual primal group or main group, either Democrat or Republican. You're voting for the person to beat or to win that, or to present them before the general election.
Yeah.
So now within your group, you have to look at what are you about to do. Are we going to be stuck with the same thing, or or as Einstein said, voting on the same people, expecting a different result? Or as we talked about on the show, are we going to be stuck in that Stockholm syndrome where we are now voting again that person who has been abusing and oppressing us? Are we going to sit up here and now vote in again the same slave whisperer who has been oppressing us? Are we going to continue on with this same stuff that we always talk about being sick and tired of? Or are we going to get a pair of balls and start voting them out? And I'm not just talking about the big ones. I'm not talking about the senator and president. I'm talking about your school board, your city council, your city management, the people who take care of your lights, make sure that your children are educated, make the people who sit up there and make laws, those people who enforce these fools who go around and abuse us every time we get a bullcrap ticket that we got to pay $200 for. It's time for change. I'm sick and tired of being an income source of my taxes going to this idiot who now takes it and gives his wife a job, and of course his free tickets to Tahiti. I'm tired of my money or being an income source for these townships with these crappy tickets by police, and then I go before the judge, and the judge believes everything that this cop says versus what I'm actually telling them. I am tired of my hard-earned dollars going towards people who don't have a clue. Look, they don't have a clue, and they can't buy a vow about how to spend your money or how to run a government effectively. The only thing that they actually know is, well, we just got to raise taxes because we need money for this. Really? What we have to do is actually cut down that political pork.
Yeah.
Cut down some of them cousins you've been hiring.
Yeah. So listen, guys, what I am going to do, Vincent, because I told you that I was up early and I thought that I was going to have the stamina, and I know this is a bit weird, but I'm going to actually end the show. I'm fine.
Aww.
No, I'm fine. So because I know what'll happen next is people are going to start calling me, are you okay? Are you okay? I am just tired.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. And so I'm sitting here trying my best, to give it my best. But I do want to say before we sign off, it is Primary Tuesday. So folks, vote for change, real change. Take your time. Look at what's going on around the world, and look at what's going on in this country. Remember all the things that we've talked about for the years that we've been talking about them, and recognize that now, right now, is your moment to shine. So let's see you shine. Vincent Squire, thanks, man. I tried. 2:45 in the morning is a little too early for me, so I'm gonna have to work on it. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't think I have a 2:30 or 2 o'clock or 2:45 morning tomorrow, so I'll be ready and have all the stamina in the world. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yep. You got something to say?
Before we go, I want to thank Farrakhan. I went and got my hair cut yesterday.
Oh, from Farrakhan?
The barber.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank him for giving me those tips. So when I went to my barber, I made sure that, he had the things that Farrakhan talked about. I scolded him on some things that, Farrakhan was doing that he wasn't, and, really open up their eyes. So we're going to, slow down or stop the spread of this virus.
Yeah, Farrakhan is amazing, man, and I can't wait, man. If you look at my beard and my hair, I need a cut. And in fact, Amina said to me, when is Farrakhan going to start cutting your hair again? So I said, I set an appointment for, what was it, the 30th? I think I got to look on my calendar, but I do have my appointment set up.
I believe you told him that Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday, not on Monday. Yeah,
right,
so it is the 30th because he opens up on the 29th. So the 30th, I'll be there. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Dude, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm out.
All right. God bless everybody. Stay safe out there. If it's God's will,